Good evening. How are we all? Are we good? Just wait for a few people to come online. Just checking out the Facebook. We did it. We made it to another Tuesday. Not many to go this year. Nearly the end of September, October, November, December. Time is flying. Okay. Good. I can see we have come up everywhere on Facebook and on YouTube. And tonight, talking about spiritual awakening. Big topic. And I certainly am not an expert on it. And also, we only have sort of half an hour to discuss that topic before we start turning cards for everybody. So I am going to cover a few things. So good evening, Emily, and thank you to Emily for your email that has what inspired tonight's live. So I'm going to read Emily's email in a second and her question as a few more people get on board and start talking about spiritual awakening, or some people call it enlightenment, I guess is another word for it. Nirvana, there's lots of different words that we can use, but talking about how we feel when we're going into that, what it can feel like, because it's different. I think it's different for different people in different ways. Hello, Debbie, how are you? Deb, good to see you. So we're going to be talking about, let me get back on track. Mercury retrograde at the moment, and I know we're in the thick of it, is driving me slightly crazy. So I've had a big day. I've had a big week, actually, and it's only Tuesday. Hey, Tamika. Yes. Stoked to hear more about spiritual awakening. Oh, thank you so much. And actually, that's something that we're going to talk about tonight as well. Hello, James. So I've had a tough day, like most people. Mercury retrograde is really battling me at the moment and affecting my physical body. So, and you know what? Sometimes it's okay to be pissed off. I've decided I'm going to forgive myself because we are all just human in the end, and life happens and it can be difficult. Yeah, James, I tell you what, I hear ya. It's been a tough one, and to be honest, every Mercury retrograde tends to kick my ass a little bit, and that's why I talk about it every time it comes up, because it's that one thing, I guess, in astrology that really stands out for me. I really feel it. And what's going on around me, even something as simple as, Monday I went in, obviously you all know that I hurt my knee and then my car broke down, and then Monday I went in and had my teeth fixed, and then today, the fillings come out and I've got to go back in again, which means I've got to reschedule all of my readings. So there's the communication hiccup, but problems that I need to get sorted at the same time. But had I found time to sort it? No. So the universe went, well, guess what? You're going to do it now. Brings us back to last week that I spoke about finding balance in our lives and making sure we're looking after all parts of that. So mind, body, and spirit. So let's have a chat about, well, first I'm going to read the email that I received and encourage everyone to send me these types of emails. I got, here we go, where is it? Just here, a fantastic email from Emily, and she asked me this question, that she would like to learn more about spiritual awakening and how can you recognize it if you're going through one or have been through one. You'll definitely know if you've been through one. And for me, spiritual awakening, and like I said, huge topic, and we're probably going to cover it over many nights and in different occasions because it's going to come up in different ways. And I am going to lean a little bit on an article I found earlier today, which I thought really summed up a few things that you could be asking yourself to see if this is something that you've been through, which again, I think you know if you've been through it, or something that you're going into at the moment. With my job, I am super blessed. Every day I do readings and have been doing that for a couple of decades now. And I get to see and intuitively and also talk to humans every day about true life stories, what's really going on with them. And it's unfiltered and it's unedited. So I have got all of this kind of, I guess, experience from humans, from real humans, and me seeing what they've gone through and what they've experienced, and seeing how they have found their spiritual awakenings and how they've moved forward. It is a very individual thing. So although we can share, different questions you could be asking yourself, or maybe different things that you're feeling. It is, I think, a very individual thing. And I'm going to touch on the metaphysical side of it and what spirituality, I guess, is for me. Sometimes it's religion. It can be lots of different cultures where we have spiritual awakenings. But I think there's kind of two kinds. And there is one way that I'm going to joke about first a little bit. Sometimes I come across people and they're like, oh my God, I'm on this spiritual journey and I've bought crystals and I've got oils and, everything's fabulous and, la la la. And I sort of go, that's wonderful, because I love all of those things. But that doesn't necessarily mean you're being enlightened or having a spiritual awakening at that point. Usually for me, like I said, there's two types. There's a more gentle, subtle kind of awakening where, you suddenly realize, you kind of wake up one day and you're like, who am I? I've become this avatar where I'm doing the same thing every day, or I'm stuck in that same job, or I don't even know who I am anymore. I think a spiritual awakening a lot of the time is coming back to self and finding self again. And centering. So, sometimes it's life, it's just this mundane life that's kind of started happening, and you realize one day that you can't live that life anymore, and you decide to make changes. Now, that again is big, and we've got to step out of our comfort zones, and we're going to explore new things, and we're going to have to face ourselves and almost get to know yourself again, or even find yourself for the first time. But then there are the spiritual awakenings that come from trauma or traumatic events in our lives and things that have happened. And when you go through something like that, I guess someone asked me one day, how did I know that I'd been through, I guess, a spiritual awakening or an enlightenment? And I knew the day, it was going back now to 2013, I was going through some massive life changes. I'd come out of a very long-term relationship, become a single parent for the first time, had to get my own place, and everything fell apart. And I knew that moment because I was sitting on the floor crying that ugly cry where you're crying tears and snot's coming out of your nose and you feel like you could literally just crawl into that floor and disappear. That for me was kind of like hitting that rock bottom, or even just trying to find the bottom to be able to stand up again. That for me was a big spiritual awakening, and I had to go back and find self. And it hurt, and I had to go through a lot of hurting and a lot of healing, and a lot of exploring and a lot of trying different things and trying what worked and educating myself on different things to be able to find that spiritual awakening for me. So for me, it kind of came up and just punched me in the face and just knocked me to the ground and went, you can't continue another day living the life that you've been in. You need to make these changes to survive. And I had to find what my beliefs were, what my God was. And, for me, it's the universe. I always talk about that. So I think there's two different types that can come through when we're looking at those kinds of spiritual enlightenment. So looking at it that way. So don't ever think to yourself, it doesn't necessarily have to be that big traumatic event. It could be that you just realize you're no longer living the life that you want to anymore, or you don't feel like you should. I have suffered from depression. I suffer from anxiety. So for me, it was about dealing with all of those things too, and being able to move forward through them and finding the tools to be able to do that. So I think with the question being, how do you know you've been through one? I think you'll know that feeling. You'll know what it's like when you hit it and when you have to make that climb. And when you're sort of getting through the other side of it. However, I guess I'm curious, and I'm going to ask all of you this as well. I think you can have more than one spiritual awakening in your life. I don't think there necessarily has to be one time of it. I think at the moment, I feel myself even now going into another type of spiritual awakening. So whether we evolve more or we just go into that next vibration or that next step, this one for me that I'm kind of going through at the moment, not as big and as brutal as that punch in the face that I got back in 2013. This one's been a little bit more subtle. It's kind of crept up on me like the tide. And now I am sort of looking at myself and going, am I happy with me? And needing to go back to maybe the things that I did learn back in 2013, because I have gotten detached from them again, and going back to the things that I do love, and the beliefs that I do have and the systems I know that do work for me. Hello, Charlotte. Oh, I'm glad you're looking forward to tonight. Hi, Dimmy. I'm good, thank you. How are you? So if you have questions, do throw them up if you've had experiences. If anything I'm saying that you can relate to, let me know in the comments. I do try and keep an eye on them. But I was flicking through this afternoon, just thinking to myself, you know what would be a really good way in such a short period of time tonight to be able to talk about our awakening or our enlightenment. Excuse my words. I'm stumbling over them a little bit tonight. I have taken some Panadol to help with the toothache, so hopefully that helps. So there was a few here that I found, and this was on a website. You know, Google is good for some things. And this was some signs that you may be going through a spiritual awakening and how to embrace it. But I also, when I was having a read through these, could resonate with a lot of them. And I thought it would be great to share. The website I had a look at was Mind Body Green. But you can look that up if you'd like to have a little read later. And so let's have a look at a couple of things that you may be experiencing at the moment. If you're feeling disconnected or detached, you know, when you're kind of on the outside of your world, almost looking in, when you start going through the motions every day, but not really present in it. I think sometimes that can make us really sort of want to step into that spiritual awakening because we're kind of like, hey, what's going on in my world? I don't know who I am anymore, like I mentioned earlier, and kind of moving forward. Reevaluating your beliefs. I think that's a really good one because that's something I had to do. And again, I only know from personal experience, and I'm always going to share it with you guys and be honest about it as well. I remember sitting there and thinking to myself, I'm like, you know what? I really live by the 10 Commandments, and there's nothing wrong with that. I have no problem with religion. You know, I'm a big believer in find your God and what brings you hope and what brings you peace. But I did realize that I was living by all of these morals that someone else had chosen, you know, whether or not my parents chose to raise me like that. And, you know, and some of them are pretty handy and we should probably stick to them. But how many of them did I not believe in or weren't mine? So it was really important for me to reevaluate my beliefs and, you know, do I believe in the universe? Do I believe in manifestation? Do you believe in a God? You know, what's your belief? So maybe having to just reevaluate that, or even looking at, you know, old patterns. We talked about last week, Mercury retrograde is split into two this time round. You know, these first couple of weeks was about showing you the imbalance. The second part was about what are you going to do about it? And I think this is a good way of looking at it. You know, where's the imbalance in your life? Do you have spiritual things in your life? Do you use them to help deal with things that you're going through? Your dreams become more vivid? Oh, look, yes, they can. If they're not, you're not getting it wrong. Like I said, this is individual. Going through a spiritual awakening, you need to go through it your way. Experiencing more synchronicities and deja vus. Again, yes, I did find the more I worked towards my spiritual self, the more was shown to me, the more I opened up to my beliefs and sort of saying to the universe, you know, hey, can you bring me what I need to learn here? I'm ready to learn. I'm ready to heal. I'm ready to hurt. Because I think a lot of the spiritual awakening comes from that. Hello, Sharon. Lovely to see you. Number 4 on the list here that I was having a look at, you experience, oh no, sorry, we just did that one. Your relationships begin to shift. Friends are an interesting topic. Partners, bosses, colleagues, neighbors, relationships begin to shift, absolutely. And you find sometimes, you know, reason, season, or a lifetime. I see this with a lot of my clients. They've had a friend for a few years and then, you know, that friend becomes a bit distant or you're not really talking and they feel really guilty and they keep trying to make, you know, dates with them to have coffee or go out or catch up with them. Sometimes you just need to let people go. We don't have to have an argument. Things haven't changed. There's no harsh feelings there, but reason, season, or a lifetime. There's probably only 5 people you'll take through a lifetime with you. And you wanting to step away from toxic relationships as well and recognizing them. That's big, I think, when we start going through an enlightenment and looking at where we're headed next. Who are the people around you? What relationships are you entertaining that really bring you no purpose or drain you? You know, are they really a friend if when you walk away you feel miserable and you're always the one doing all the effort and all the hard work and it doesn't bring you anything? maybe reevaluating, like we said, those relationships around you, or feeling like you're maybe just, your vibration has shifted and changed and theirs hasn't, and you're ready to move forward. You feel spirituality becoming an important part of your life. Absolutely. And however you want that to be. It's interesting, you all know the line of work that I do, and I absolutely love my work, and I love my chakras and my auras, and I love crystals, and I love oils, and I love, I love my spells and magic and all of those things. I almost created my own religion. I created what works for me, and found the things that resonate within me, and that's what I continued with. You're more intuitive. Yes. When you get more to the other side of it, I think in the beginning, when you're first entering that awakening, it depends on how, I guess, you're going into it. If it's been a sudden trauma, you've lost someone, somebody's passed, or a relationship has ended, or, life has really hit that rock bottom, that can be, like I said, that punch in the face. And, you got to find the ground first before you can stand up. But then as you start to heal, and that, again, has no real timeline. That's individual as well. I've seen people go through this kind of thing in a couple of months, and turn their whole lives around. And I've seen people take decades to do it. It really is your own timeline and how it's going. You want to be of service. That's really interesting. I know when I first, I guess my first ever spiritual journey or awakening for me was way back in my very, very early 20s. And like I said, I've had probably a few in my life up until now, and I'm sure I'm going to have more, because I'm going to evolve and I'm going to change, and my situations are going to change, and there's going to be more learning for me. I certainly don't think you can ever know everything or ever know enough. But you do find that as you start to awaken, you want to tell others, you want to help others, you want others to feel like you do. That's not always the case. Sometimes you can't always give someone the good news. You can't always get someone to come on board to maybe where you are. But we can try, or maybe you'd like to volunteer somewhere, or you just want to give more. You want to make people feel better. You want to be more conscious in the moment. We start realizing, if I'm going to sit down with someone and I'm going to have a coffee, I'm going to absolutely engage with them. I'm going to hold space. I'm going to be in that moment with them. That's something we don't do enough now. Is quite often, we're sitting there, yeah, g'day, how you going? And we're on our phone, or we're doing things, or we're thinking about next week, or what we've got to do that afternoon, or worried about the kids or the house or whatever, and not really being present in that moment. And I think that's one of the things too, we realize that we're not here forever. And what is important to us, mental health over dollars, I think is an equation we learn when going through a spiritual awakening. Well, you're all a bit quiet tonight. I was expecting a load of questions. You feel alone. Yep, absolutely. There is nothing wrong if you're feeling alone going through this spiritual awakening, because it's an individual thing. You can be in a relationship. You can have 1,000 friends. You can have people around you everywhere. But only you really know how you feel and what you're going through. And only you can change it. Your people around you, your tribe can be there to help support you and encourage you to make these changes, to move forward. But in the end, you've got to get it done. You've got to go through it. You've got to heal. You've got to hurt, but you've got to heal. And you've got to be the one that can stand up again. Tamika. No, you're right. And like you said, it's been 4 years. I think too, people expecting it to happen overnight. Thanks, James. My Aries just needed a little bit of validation. But you're right. And that's why I think once you maybe even start a spiritual awakening, the idea of it just keeps continuing, the depth may vary, but I'm learning something every day. I am blessed in my job that, I've done 4 readings today, every single one, I learned something about the world, about humans, about myself, by what other people are experiencing and what they're going through, and the gratitude that I have at the end of the day, that not only that they trusted to share these things with me, but that I got to experience it as well. Oh, good. I'm glad. I'm glad everybody's listening. I don't have great attention span. So feeling alone, yes. There's nothing, it's terrible to feel alone, and nobody likes it. And it's hard. It's hard to be alone. But I think for me, the spiritual awakening was learning to be alone, learning to be able to sit with self, learning to be able to listen to what I was saying, to speak my truth. There's a tough one, on any level. These are all things that I still find really difficult. I often have moments where I'm quite lonely, or I'm feeling alone, and realizing that, hang on, I'm not. I have myself. I have people around me that love me. I have great friends. I have all you wonderful people here that come and join me on a Tuesday night. But it can be lonely because only you can find the answers. You feel more connected to the natural world. Absolutely. Yeah. Because you start realizing that it's not just you in this universe and what's going on around you. You start realizing that, it is important to ground yourself, go and walk on the grass outside, or gee, you know what? How great are the birds today? Or just sitting at the beach and taking in those elements. Being aware of what the weather's like. That was some of the few things I really started doing when I went through this period of time, like I said, in 2013, was just being conscious again of my world around me. There'd be days when I'd get up and, I was getting through life and doing my work or whatever and pushing through, and I wouldn't even stop to have a look if it, is it a good day today? Is the sun out? Is it raining? And if it's raining, is that a bad thing? Well, no, that's going to help things grow. We need the water. We need all of the elements. But really getting this connection with nature, being able to just sit in nature, and it feel rewarding and healing. As before I kind of had that spiritual awakening, I was always in a hurry, believe it or not. I was always rushing around. I was always like, no, next thing, anything to avoid looking at what I really needed to look at, which was myself, and fixing those problems. I was in let's distract myself. Let's just keep moving. Let's be as busy as possible. And realizing that what I needed to do was get grounded again, get connected with myself, find myself. I know now that when I get most hectic and I start to try and distract myself with other things. I want to procrastinate. I want to, do anything but the job that I'm meant to be doing. I need to ground. I need to get back to nature. It's become a big part of my morning routine, and I've changed that over the last couple of years. I never used to eat breakfast. I was always get up, get ready, get out the door, coffee in hand, usually a chocolate because I live on chocolate, and get into the day. And didn't enjoy my mornings. And yet now I stop, make myself a bowl of gluten-free porridge, and I'll sit outside and, there's a couple of magpies that come down and I just take 5 minutes and it absolutely changed my day, but I absolutely love it. I'm in the moment. At that point in time, I don't have my phone in my hand. I'm not thinking about, the appointments I have next or what's coming up. I'm just being. I'm going to start my day in that really lovely spiritual place where I can go, okay, breathe. And how do I really feel today? How many times do you get up in the morning and actually ask yourself, how do I feel today? Not just accept it, not just I'm just going to keep moving and get through the day and whatever. Do you actually stop and go, how do I feel today? What do I need? What would be good for me today? And that's the same as, being connected with the world around us, which I think and super important. Your senses are heightened. Yeah. Yes, because when I was going through it in 2013, people annoyed the shit out of me. Everybody, their sound, even just the way they spoke, having people in my energy, it was just too much. It was too much because I had too much in myself that I needed to sort out to have time for anybody else, to be able to sit and have a coffee with someone and be present in the moment. I just couldn't, because being present meant accepting the things that I needed to change and looking at myself, and I couldn't do that. I didn't know who she was. I was scared of her. And I was scared of answering to her as well. And I know I'm speaking of myself almost in third person. But it's hard to own your shit and to sit down and be like, hey, I've got to change because no one's going to do this for me. I got to find the light because no one can bring that to me. I got to go and find it. And what is that light for me? Again, big things. So Tamika, taking 4 years, I'm glad you're taking your time, as in, I'm not glad that you're going through it, but the idea of, you know what, be kind to yourself. Take the time to make the big changes and move forward. They tend to last a little longer that way. You have physical symptoms. Absolutely. So a theory that was told to me many years ago, anything going on the left side of your body. So if you're having a lot of ailments on the left-hand side, that's all to do with love, relationships, emotions, could be family, anything to do with the heart. And on the right-hand side of the body, if you're getting a lot of injuries or ailments on that side, to do with home, work, money, security, where you're headed on that more material world. And I find that a lot of the time, and interesting again at the moment, at the beginning of the year, if some of you remember, it was my left leg, I chipped the bone. I had this tooth pulled out as well. A couple of other things going on, and they all healed. And I did have issues around emotions at that point, and needing to find some grounding and get myself sorted that out. And now it's my right knee. Yay. It's the right hand side teeth as well. Throat chakra, okay, knees, flexibility, and it's all on my work side. So I think it's an interesting to look at, and it can come out in the body. I love my chakras, and I talk about that when I teach my workshops about it. These symptoms that can start physically coming out in the body because we have these energetic blocks in our chakras. Those of you that struggle to speak your truth, and that doesn't mean that you're lying, but to actually say what you really want, or what you really need, and we've struggled to speak our truth maybe our whole life, or be able to speak up for ourselves, which can have a whole lot to do with lower chakras and what we've experienced. But when we've struggled to use our voice, quite often we can get things like tonsillitis, throughout our lives, or we can get throat infections, we can have thyroid issues, and things going on there as well, because this is a weaker point in our energy system. Your outlook on the world feels different. Yeah. I don't want to argue with people anymore. And I think that's a sign that you're going through that awakening as well, and finding your spiritual self. I don't need to tell people. And I used to, typical fiery Aries, had a really strong opinion, wanted to tell everyone what they were doing wrong and how they could do it right. I have a Leo moon, so that would come into play as well. Now I don't. I may come in contact with somebody in a situation, and, they're sort of ranting on about something, and I might make a little suggestion. And if they shoot me down straight away, I go, you know what? They're not ready to hear those things. I'm not here to battle them. I don't have to push my opinion or my beliefs or my thoughts on anybody. There's a much more calmness in me now. And I just kind of look at them and go, well, they're on their journey and I'm on mine, and I'm going to let them keep traveling on their path, and they'll figure it out. I don't have to push my ideas or my theories or my beliefs onto anyone anymore, because I'm sure of them enough in myself. You display more compassion, absolutely. And that doesn't mean that you haven't been compassionate, but I think we have this big learning curve in life of things that we experience and what we go through, and that then brings that compassion. One of the reasons why I love doing, my Tuesday nights, or, my readings or my workshops and things like that, is I know what it feels like to feel shit. And if I can help anyone not feel shit anymore, or I can make that day a little bit better, or I can give you hope that you got this far and that you can keep going, then that for me is why I do all of this. It's because I know what it feels like to be there, and I want to help people move forward. That's compassion, and the same with, you wanting to help people, or you find you're holding doors open for people, or asking to, oh, can I give you a hand with that? That compassion comes out because we understand what it is to struggle. We have that empathy for them as well. Yes, Sharon. Oh, I'm glad you're loving the chat. Which is interesting to me, because I was just coming past one of the points, which is the dark night of the soul, which can be that very dark moment. Like you said, it's not necessarily a night. It can be years that we go through with it. Also, some other things that we can be looking at, like I said, relationships shifting in your life. the right teachers coming your way or the right things coming your way. Let me have a look at this, Emily. My new outlook, which might sound a little full on, is how insignificant I am in the scheme of things, i.e. the universe, big place, and I'm only a small part of it. A very important part of it, but it's very true. Quite often when I get overwhelmed by things, or there's a lot going on in my world and I start to panic, first world problems, I stop and I remind myself, we're this green planet, we got this grey moon going around us, and we're going around this great big ball of fire that's the sun. And all of this is going on in this galaxy of the 250 galaxy, of the thousands of galaxies, of the planets of the universe. All this is going on. I'm pretty sure I can get my tooth fixed, and that I don't really need to panic too much about it. And you're right. It's about realizing that we really are, how much of our problems are first world problems? What are we panicking about that's really not as big as we think it is? If you don't have the latest iPhone, but you have a phone that works, well done. A lot of people on the planet don't, all those little things. But Emily, I know you well enough to know you're a very compassionate person. You've got a huge heart, and maybe putting everyone else in front of you too many times. But I know that you are going to do well. That's another point that so many things I want to talk about tonight. And I know we're going to definitely have to put this over a few more nights and a few more things to talk about, because there's just so much. What's another point that I wanted to make? Too many. That's why I'm stuck with this. I talked about friends will fall away quite often when you go through that spiritual awakening. Because remember, you're kind of shedding a skin, you're shedding an energy, and there's this new version of you coming out. No, not new, evolved, or you're finding self again. The people that you should have in your life, and I know you hear this time and time again, are the ones that support you and love you and encourage you. Okay? They're the ones we want to have around us. You have to be careful of people that are narcissistic. You have to be careful of the people because in the very end, everyone is looking out for themselves. And I know that's really hard to hear, especially for people like us that are very much the empaths, and we're compassionate and we're wanting to help people and help them move forward. But in the end, it's a bit like, and I use this as an example quite often, if you walk out of the bathroom tomorrow and you got a piece of toilet paper tucked to your shoe, or you got something tucked up your skirt or whatever, and someone says, excuse me, but you got this going on, you're horrified, right? You're like, oh my God, that is the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened in my life. And 3 years later, you are still sitting at your desk thinking about, oh my God, that day I did that. That person must still think that how embarrassing. That person thought about it for about the 15 seconds they were in front of you, because straight away after they'd said something to you, they went back into their worlds and their problems, or their successes, their dramas, their families, their loves. They go back into that just as much as we do. I can't remember the last time I saw something that I had to mention to someone to help them out. But when it's happening to us, we think that it's kind of everyone's looking at it all of the time, and they're really not. And if people aren't happy for you about finding your spiritual self or moving forward or becoming a better person, sometimes that's reflection. Watch out for those people. Oh, what are you meditating for? That's rubbish. Why you got crystals? They're just rocks. Yada, 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 yada. We don't care what they think. Because if it's making you feel better, if it's getting you through your day, if it's enlightening your life, we don't care what they think. Okay, we're going to keep doing us, and we're going to keep moving forward. But do watch those people that, because they're stuck in themselves, because they haven't had that higher vibration yet, because they haven't stepped into that enlightenment, it's not our job to take them there. They'll figure it out. They'll find it. But don't let them take it from you. Don't let anybody take that shine from you. We work really hard to have it, and protect it and look after it, because people will want it. All right. As you start feeling better, people are going to want to start hanging out with you. You're like, oh, you feel so good and you make so much sense and you help me sort out all my problems and you do this for me and you do that for me, because that's what we want to do. But remember, it has to be an exchange of energy. Something needs to be coming back as well. Taking yourself down a peg or two. Hello, Hayley. How are you? No, I don't think you are. I think it's just the idea that you're learning things, Emily. You're looking at the world with a bigger scope. You're kind of like, hey, there's more to it than just making money. Don't get me wrong. Money's important, and money is is, I guess, freedom, unfortunately, in this world. And without it, we really can't get too far. But about realizing that although money is important, it's really not everything. And I think that's something too. I see a lot of people go through their spiritual journey or, that enlightenment, and they suddenly start clearing out their homes. They're like, you know what? I don't need so much stuff. Why do I have so much stuff? Happiness doesn't come from all this stuff. All this stuff drives me crazy because it clutters not this stuff. This stuff doesn't count because this stuff I love. But the idea of what are you holding on to, and sometimes we hold on to material things because of the memory. Take a photo of it. Let it go, being able to move forward. Change is inevitable. It's going to happen. Life is going to change whether we like it or not. It's whether or not you can be a little bit more flexible to be able to move with it. Oh, I've missed a few messages here, but that's okay. So tonight we're going to be turning some cards. Any questions? Anyone got any questions? I'm going to do the subject again, and I think I'm gonna come in next time with it and give you a whole bunch of things that you can be doing. Observing is a really good one. Observe how you feel. Random question. We love a random question. All right, good random question. Can we somehow accidentally tap into someone else we know having a spiritual awakening, even if we're not in contact with them in the physical world at the moment? And if so, why would that be? Yes, because, all right, I think that comes down to when we start talking about intuition and we start talking about connectedness and how we're all kind of connected. It's a bit like, sometimes you haven't thought about someone in 10 years and all of a sudden you think about them, and then the next day at the shops you bump into and you're like, oh my God, how random. I just thought of you yesterday for the first time in ages and here you are. Or you think about, gee, you know what? It's been a while since I heard from some company or something or other, and you get home and there's a letter in the mailbox. And we have all those synchronicities that I just spoke about coming into play. Do I think we can be connected to someone energetically? Yes. All right, absolutely. I've got friends, I've got friends all over the place. I've got a couple of friends overseas, and I don't know how many times I've sat here and thought about them and gone, oh, I wonder how they're going. And the next day they send a message or they send one. Can we have that connection with someone? Absolutely. Can you know they're going through a spiritual journey? Yes. Can you support them in that? Absolutely. It's a bit hard if you're not having contact with them, but you can send them positive healing energy, surround them in white or green light. If you're just sitting there thinking about them, surround them in that, send them love. How often do we sign things off? Sending you love. You can do that. So I think it's about, yes, we can definitely know. However, can you do it for them? We can be there to support them and to help them. But we can't do it for them. As you would know, Tamika, going through a spiritual journey, yourself and an enlightenment, in the end, you've really got to deal with self and you've got to get yourself there. And like I said, for me too, it was about realizing, this person in this head of mine, who I am, I can't leave her. I can't sack her. I can't, go on holiday from her for 2 weeks. I've got to be able to live with me every day of my life for the rest of my life. So I needed to learn to love her and to like her even to start with. And to do that, I had to change. And it's hard. And I still face those problems every day. James, I cleared a big box of rubbish from the work van today. Lol. Good enough. I think Buddha or someone very important once said, you should get rid of everything in your lifetime at least once and start again. I think that's a great idea. I really think it is. Yeah, send them light, send them healing, send them energy. I think it's a bit like, we've played around a little bit talking about voodoo dolls and the concept of it, but we never look at the other side of that where you could create something like a voodoo doll, let's just say, and you could envision it wrapped in love, or put a rose quartz on it, or you could even create, if you wanted to, and I know an altar, maybe that's a, or a space where you're like, you know what, I'm going to put a photo of them and I'm going to put some rose quartz around it. And every day I'm just going to stop for a minute and just send them love and healing. People do remote healings. They do remote Reiki. They do remote energy healings. So it's that same thing. Can we send them love? Yes. It's the same as, I think, the people that we have connections with. You can know, like you said, if they're going through a journey, if they're unwell, if something's going on, or you just get that feeling, I'm just going to check in with my friend today, just going to see if they're okay. Quite often the timing seems to be perfect. Yes, Tamika, we will pop you on the list. I just have to, yes, Sharon, you're on the list, I think. Hang on, how are we going here? Yes. I've got my secretary here tonight. She's writing down the list as we go because I can't talk and read comments at the same time. You all know that. But what I wanted to get at as well is, Emily, I loved that question tonight. So please, if you do have a question like that, not about getting a card or, something that's to do with your life in general, it's more about, do you have a metaphysical question? Again, what crystals would we use if we were going through an enlightenment? Hi, Belinda. Amethyst, fantastic, because amethyst is really good for healing. We don't often look at it for that, but it is fantastic for healing. It's great for our intuitive senses. It's great for our psychic abilities, for clairvoyance. It's great for getting good sleep, bringing in peace and harmony. Amethyst would be fantastic whilst going through that. Moldavite is also very good. It's great for the heart chakra. I do find Moldavite a little bit strong though, so if you are going to use it, do be prepared for those big, strong shifts. So if you're looking for something a little bit more gentle and a little bit more subtle, I would go with that. Amethyst, maybe some rose quartz would be good. Even citrine, to help with that courage, that willpower, or to help cleanse us as well. Yes, Belinda, we will pop you on the list. I want to do my card reading night again because last time we did it, I didn't have the microphone working well. And I couldn't talk you guys through it. So I think too, start thinking about getting a deck of cards out that you've probably got tucked away in the cupboard that you'd like to work with. And we'll have a look at doing that again so people can have a look at that. But like I said, if you have a question or a topic or something, Mercury retrograde, messing with the equipment, something that you would like to look at on a Tuesday night, just email me at askravencooper@gmail.com. And that's how Emily got hold of me, and that's how we got onto tonight's subject. Do we have any more questions about, I know I didn't really cover everything when it comes to that spiritual enlightenment. Like I did mention before, put out to the universe, bring me the teachers I need, bring me the people that I need to have in my life. Maybe you're looking for a group, maybe you're looking for something that you'd like to do. Put it out there. You'll be very surprised how that comes your way. Another thing that you need to be looking at too is, whilst you're going through that, is what do you do that you love? What do you do that puts the fire in your belly and your passions and makes you feel alive? I think that was one of the biggest things for me when I went through, several of my awakenings, was feeling alive again. I'd forgotten how feeling alive feels so good. And being in control of, how I felt again a little bit more. And that doesn't mean that my emotions don't, change with daily activities and things going on. Oh, I've been through 16,000 emotions today. I've been happy, I've been sad, I've been pissed off. 1 minute I was looking forward to something, the next minute my filling came out my tooth and I was pissed off, and then I was frustrated, then I was tired, then I was hungry. I went through all of those things. But feeling alive again, I think that's a big part of it. Oh, maybe psychometry. We can talk about psychometry one night too. That'd be good. Actually, yeah, because people could try. Yeah, let's do that. Lots of subjects. I love it. I love it. Where are my cards? Is it warm tonight? Is it in Brisbane? It feels warm tonight. Could be my age. No, shut up. No, it's not. All right, let's have a look. Okay, first up we have James, and then Sharon, then Tamika. We have Emily, we have Belinda, and we have Charlotte. I did say Sharon. Yeah. All right, James, let's have a look. Got me a cup of tea. Hang on a second. That's another thing you might find too when you enter into a spiritual awakening, habits that you want to change. Maybe there's something you're doing a little bit too much of. That can be, lots of different things, I guess. has something become an unhealthy addiction or habit or something that you lean on too strongly? And are you using that thing to escape yourself and your world? I've been there. I've done that. Probably still guilty out of a little bit time to time. But I really had to look at those things as well and try and make changes. And sometimes you're not going to get it right the first time. Very rarely we do. Quite often it takes several attempts to be able to go, spiritual awakening, like I said, it's not just I woke up this morning, had a spiritual awakening at 16 minutes past 8 and now I'm doing great. No, that's not often how it works, if at all. It's a process, and then having to realize, well, I want change, but what is it, the change that you need? And then you're like, well, I don't know the change that I need because I don't know who I am anymore. So how am I supposed to know what I'm meant to do? It's all very difficult. Is it worth it? Absolutely. And I think most people, when they come out the other side of it, will tell you that it was hard. It was shit. It was hell. And I had to face a lot of things and go through those dark nights and those dark times. But coming through the other side of it, and starting to feel better and having another outlook on your world and your life, and realizing that it really is in your hands, that's amazing. All right, enough chat. Or I'll just keep talking. All right, James, let's have a look. I'm back to you, mate. Let's have a look. Do you really want me in there, Sharon? Let's have a look. All right, let's spread the cards out. Do. All right, James. Let's have a look. Oh, this one for you tonight. Okay. We like this. We like it, but there's a little bit of hard work here, James. All right, moving on. Funny enough, look at this card and what we're talking about tonight. Out of the dark and into the light. Okay, that's what he's doing. He's moving on. He's stepping out of this dark sort of, I guess, cave or castle, and he's stepping out into the light, into this new season. Can't see very well on my camera tonight, but there's all these new leaves coming in this new season. So we're moving on. It's blue because he needs to speak his truth. Okay, so that in itself can be difficult, but the truth is it's time to move forward. He knows that in himself, but here's the problem here. He's holding, let me see if I can get this. He's holding a timepiece here. He's holding a watch. Okay. And what that means is the problems that you may be having at the moment about moving on is that there's no due date. And that can be really hard when we have things that we want to do for self, or there's things that we want to do to be able to move on, but we're so busy working in our lives, trying to survive and go to work and pay the bills, that we can't work on it. So it says here that you will move on out of the dark and into the light, but you hold the timepiece. So it basically means do nothing and nothing's going to happen. Okay, it's not going to change. But you do have the luxury of holding the timepiece. So maybe it'd be a really good time right now to just set some due dates, even if they're just rough due dates. I mean, maybe there's something you'd like to do. James, I know you're a fantastic reader and you could do that and something I think you should look at seriously. But what due date do you start that? And so for this, it's saying to you here, yes, you're going to move on. You're going to move into the light, but the timing is really up to you. So that can be a little difficult because we can procrastinate. We can kind of ponder on that for a long time. What it means is the universe isn't going to force this on you. You're going to have to choose the timing. But I think you're ready to do this. But it's almost like let's set some due dates and make this happen and move forward. Good card, James. Moving on. But in your time. So what's that going to be? Is it 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, 2 years? When you're ready, the universe is going to support you on that and you're going to step into the light. But you've got to make the start there. All right, Sharon, let's have a look. Sharon, I do hope you're well. It's been a little while. Good to see your name pop up. All right, let's have a look. Oh, we might have to do some spell nights too. What do you reckon? Do a couple of spells. Oh, yes, James. Yes, we can. Oh, no, sorry. I just read that wrong. Emily, just having a quick look at your comment there. A bit witchy poo. Love that. But could we maybe do a topic on familiars? Yes. Yes, we can. And spirit animals and totems and things like that. That'd be a very interesting topic. I will definitely write that down. But if you actually email that to me too, so I don't forget, that would be great. And James, your 10-year projects around the house, that can be it. Most definitely. All right, Sharon, let's have a look. All right, I don't want to look. Oh, Sharon, we're going to dig down here. Let's have a look here. Ooh, now, not a favorite card of mine. Not because it's a bad card. It's because I just don't have any patience. Okay, Sharon. So it says here, a lot of seeds have been planted. Okay, a lot of things going on at the moment. And you're kind of looking at them and you're like, planted these seeds, but nothing's happening. They're not growing. Nothing's moving forward here. And it's just saying if you can have a little bit of patience, you're going to look up and you're going to realize there's a white lily here. And it's almost like you're like, I plant, and then you're like, I didn't know that was going on in the background. It's a little bit of trust the process, okay? Trust what's going on, because we all know how many times have we looked back on life and gone, now that makes sense why that had to happen that way. So right now, just have some patience. Let things play out a little bit, because you are going to get this white lily. We are going to get a good result here, but patience is a virtue right now for you. I'm not a very patient person, so I would struggle with that card. But Sharon, I actually know that you can be very patient. So stick with it and just give it a little bit more time. Tamika, let's have a look. Thanks, Emily. She knows what I'm like. All right, Tamika. Let's have a look. Ooh, no. You're telling me down here. Okay. Interesting card. Base chakra card. We're going to have to do some nights on chakras too. And I will have some more workshops coming up. I'm hoping for maybe the end of October. Just waiting to confirm some dates. Had to change a few things around because of my injuries. But this one here, base chakra. So Tamika, this is all about home, work, money, security, the physical body, all those practical things in the world right now, things that make us feel secure. Usually when I see this card, I'm like, oh, there's a change in the home. And that could be a physical change in the home. So we move house or we renovate, or, there's something going on with it. It could be a change in job or a change in the people within the home. So someone new coming into the home here, but starting to feel very secure around it. It's going to be good shifts and good changes, but feeling a little bit more secure around home, work, money, security. That's all going to start finding some balance now. So if you found those things have all been a little bit up in the air, that can be a really hard time when those securities aren't there. They're all going to start coming back into balance now, and some new direction. So a lovely card, homework, money, security. Okay, so coming into balance, good things, and possibly a change in the home. So that'll be interesting. Emily, let's have a look. Hi, Robin. Yes, we will add you to the list. Wonderful. Oh, hi. Hi, Derry. Let's have a look at, who did I just say I was reading for? Emily, of course. Tonight's show is brought to you by Emily. Let's have a look. Oh, couldn't afford your house sitting at the moment. Okay. Let's turn a card for you, Emily. Look at my technology today. Even the cameras don't want to play the game. Mercury retrograde just needs to stop. Yes, Robin, you will be up shortly. We have a couple more just before you, and then I'll turn a card for you. Okay, let's have a look. All right, Emily. Well, you're going to take me right up the end here. Let's have a look at this one. Oh, another chakra card, which is good because I get to describe chakras a little bit. So this one here is the crown chakra card. So you just have to ask for a card. So is it Dre? 00723. If you just ask for a card, I'm more than happy to put you on the list. This one here is a crown chakra card for you, Emily. This is all about feeling whole again, and you brought up spiritual awakening tonight, and the crown chakra, of course, on the top of our head and connects us to the universe or to our gods and what we believe in, feeling whole spiritually, that oneness, that wholeness. Okay, it's also one of the chakras. Usually, what's a good example? People who retired are really good. You've done my workshop with this chakra. They get to a point in life where they just don't care what anyone else thinks about them anymore. They don't care what you think about their hair or their clothes or what they're doing today. They're at peace. You know, it's a bit like it happens and they just move on. And they're accepting of life's challenges. That's a lot to do with the crown chakra. So beliefs in self, understanding of the universe, finding your gods or what you believe in, feeling whole again. Really good card, especially with the question that you asked tonight. So well done. Good job. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's good, Robin. Okay. All right, Belinda. Yes, Dre, we have put you on the list. If I'm pronouncing that wrong, I'm really sorry, but you know who I'm talking about. All right, let's have a look. Belinda, let's pick you out a card. Oh, I'm going to dig down here. I want this one. This is actually a good card, but it just tends to surprise us. This is my truth card. Now, these are the scales of justice here, so balance coming in. But there's going to be a lot of truths coming out around you at the moment. And although we may not want to hear these truths, they do set us free. If there has been an unjust unto you, if you're looking at, the scales of justice being fair here, this is your time, okay? So some truths coming out, but when these truths come out, they will actually help set you free. There may be things that you needed to hear or needed to know, but the universe is going to help you see those right now, maybe bring light to them so that we can make those decisions to set ourselves free and to be able to move forward. But don't try and, quite often they come in unusual ways. The way you find out about these things, it could be just by chance. Someone mentions something, or you see something online, or, something crops up and you're like, thanks, universe, because that just gave me the answers I'd been looking for. So it is going to bring balance and truth into your life, but it is going to set you free as well. Yes, Stephanie, I will pop you on the list. And Stephanie, you may be one of our last ones tonight. All right, Charlotte, it's your turn for a card. Let's have a look. Miss Charlotte. All right. Oh, Charlotte, this one here. Oh, I like this one. I think I say that every time I turn the cards. I love all of these cards. That's why I've had them for like 15, 16 years. Recognition and reward all around, homework, money and security. Red for the base chakra 3. Something new coming in here. So you might find around work, there's literally recognition and reward. They may be telling you you're doing an amazing job. You're doing really, really well. Maybe they want to give you a promotion, or they want to give you a credit. Maybe people are complimenting you at the moment on how well you're doing. But with this card, he's got his head down. Okay, he's not listening to this. So this card's kind of reminding you here that they wouldn't be saying these things if you weren't doing well. Or maybe you're giving yourself a hard time. You kind of like someone saying, Charlotte, you're doing an amazing job. You're doing so well. And then in your head, you're like, imagine if I really applied myself. Shut up. Just take the compliment and the recognition. You're doing really well. This could be with assignments or assessments as well if you're studying, getting some really good results here. So stand in the light, put your head up and enjoy it. Recognition and reward. Love it. Good card. Good card. All right, Robin, you are up next. Let's have a look. And just another reminder, if you do have topics that you would like me to cover, you can just email me at askravencooper@gmail.com, or through the Threefold Facebook page, or through the YouTube channel, or through Twitch. I try and check them every day or every couple of days. So if you do want to have a subject that you'd like me to cover, or if you would like to also book a reading, you can do that through any of those avenues as well, or you will find my phone number on a lot of those sites. I do readings online, so it doesn't matter where you are, you can get a reading, and I can do them also in person here at my home office, but I can give you all those details if you get in contact with me. All right, Robin, let's have a look. Interesting, Robin, with what you were saying there. I've just caught a couple of your messages that I was having a look at. Okay, I'm going to add 2 more names to this list because I can't say no, particularly, well, to both of them, but to one in particular, Monica. Monica is one of my dearest friends. We have been friends since we were teenagers, and I desperately need to catch up with you. We have so much to talk about, and I miss you all the time, every day. So I will most definitely turn a card for you tonight. You're very welcome, Charlotte. And then I will turn a card for Susan. Good to see you, Susan, as well. And Susan is going to be my last one for tonight. Okay, so Robin, I know I keep saying that, but for reals this time. Okay, Robin, let's have a look. Good with the house sitting, but you, like you said, you got that little bit of a gap there. I think you said in January, and then you're booked through until the May. All right, Robin, let's have a look. Oh, I'm going to go down here. I'm going to take this card. You're not going to like me with this one. Patience. Just turned this earlier for Sharon. At the moment, you're like, I'm planting all these seeds. I'm trying to make things happen, but I'm not really seeing too much going on from it. Just give it a minute because it is going to grow into something here that's going to bring you that white lily. So it is going to bring you good results, but you may just feel like at the moment nothing's changing, nothing's really coming forward. You know, I've made these changes, or I've planted these seeds and nothing's really happening. Just give it a little bit of time. Try and be a little bit patient with it. The universe is working on things for you in the background, and then being able to see that white lily. So patience, unfortunately, is your message for tonight. You know I'm not a fan of patience. But Robin, I've sort of followed your journey, you know, through little things that you've mentioned to us during the Tuesday nights, and I know home was a big issue for you. So it's great that you have somewhere to be now. And who knew this would be how things would turn out? Oh, Monica. All right, so let's have a look now. So is it Dre? 00773. This is your card. I know a little bit of English, and that's about it. Let's have a look. All right, I'm just going to spread the cards out. And let's find your card. No. Yes. Big card. Transformation card. So this is all about exactly that. You're going through a big transformation at the moment, or about to enter into a big transformation. And you know I like to use, obviously with the butterfly being on the card here, that as a bit of an analogy here. You know, it's a bit like the caterpillar, you know, he goes along being a caterpillar. He knows he's a caterpillar. Sometimes we're going through life kind of going, yep, doing this, you know, and now you've kind of gone into this cocoon. It's interesting that we're talking about, you know, spiritual awakening tonight. You know, the caterpillar goes into this cocoon and it's dark and it's tight and his body's changing and his mind's changing, and he's like, this must be my coffin. I must be dying. It's uncomfortable. I don't really like this. And then that cocoon breaks open. He's like, holy shit, I'm a butterfly. And it's like, yeah. Even that butterfly, though, now needs to learn to fly because it once was a caterpillar. So right now there's a big transformation going on around your world. It's going to be a little bit uncomfortable, you know, and it's going to feel maybe a little bit dark and you can't see what's on the other side of it, but you're just going to have to trust it, and know that you're going to come out of this with those wings. You're going to come out, you know, with different changes and freedoms and things going on in your life. But transformation's hard because we're not who we were 5 years ago, and we're not who we're going to be in 5 years' time. We're really in that transformation, and it's difficult but rewarding. So if you can stick with it and keep going, you're going to get to the other side of this and be glad that you did. Robin, no, patience isn't one of my better qualities. Oh, that's good, caravan. Yeah, I like the idea. I love the idea of van life. I think it would be great. Robin, you need to get that manifestation happening. You get on top of that. You absolutely deserve to have that. All right, let's have a look. Stephanie, it's your turn for a card. Then it's going to be Monica and Susan. Please also, if you enjoyed tonight, please don't forget to share this. It's a good opportunity for people to get messages. It's a good opportunity for us all to chat and to be able to cover different subjects. All right, let's have a look. So, Stephanie, let's turn you a card. Let's have a look. This one. Oh, yeah. The power card. So, Stephanie, this tells me that for a little while here you felt a bit powerless, okay, as if the power has been taken from you, and that maybe you weren't in control of the things going on around you, or maybe other people were making decisions. This tells me no more. You're about to step into your power, okay, where you felt powerless. Your power is back, and embrace it. Take control. This is a reminder. Look, half human, half lion, that hunter in us, we do have it. So get back to those gut instincts, get your power back, realizing that, you are the one in control of your world and where you go. You can make your decisions. But if the power has been taken from you, maybe in a work scenario or a relationship scenario, that it's going to be coming back, and you're going to get that power back and feel in control again of your world and where you're going. Oh, that's good. That's good. We need that. Leo things. Oh, yeah. Leo. Absolutely. Oh. I can't just jumped out as you said that. So I'm just going to share this with you as well, Stephanie. Trapped in fear. There's a little bit of a closet Leo thing here, because the universe is shining in and saying, come on out, come on out. But he's kind of closing the window because he's got his heart on his sleeve and he's like, oh, no, maybe not today. Quite often those fears are things that haven't happened yet. So maybe at the moment it's about just embracing that power and maybe having to face a couple of fears and moving forward. But yes, Leo energy there. Step out into it. Takes a lot of confidence, but your power is coming back and you're going to take control. I love that. All right, Monica. Woohoo. Let's have a look. This could be dangerous. Oh, one just did jump out, Monica. So I'm going to read this one for you first, and then I'll pick one from the deck as well. This is the authority card. So it is making a little suggestion here. You may have some legal documents around you. Could be work contract, could be a lease for a property, could be a driver's license, could be anything like that. Just legal government papers maybe around you. At the moment, especially with Mercury in retrograde, please make sure that you read them twice, or you check that there's no mistakes on it before you sign it. It's not saying don't do it. It's just saying be cautious and make sure everything is what you expect it to be before you sign that. But just legal papers around you at the moment. Now, let's turn Monica a card to go with that one. All right, let's spread them out. Let's have a look. All right. For Monica. No, I'm going down here. This card's very interesting. This is the Rest and Rejuvenate card. Now, Monica, I'm not going to tell you to go out to the forest and do meditation, but what I am going to tell you is you need to rest and rejuvenate. It can be incredibly hard when we're incredibly busy and we have families and jobs and homes and all that's what's going on. But right now you need to rejuvenate. Those energies are low. So even if going out to the forest and doing meditation isn't your thing, it's more about going, what do you do that you love? How do you rejuvenate? Okay, however you want that to be. Maybe it's, sitting at home watching some Netflix and staring at the walls. Maybe it's going out having a drink, maybe having a rum and a dance and a good time. No matter what it is, it's saying here that the batteries are low and we need to rejuvenate. You need to look after yourself. Okay, you need to get your batteries back. Rejuvenate them. Get some rest. And it's blue because you got to speak your truth here. You cannot do everything for everybody all the time. We cannot, even superheroes take a break. They're not superheroes all the time. Sometimes they're just human and then they become the superhero, when it's needed. But it's saying here that maybe you've been there for everybody else a little bit too much, going through some really big times. You've put out a lot of energy, but it's time now to speak your truth. Monica needs a break and she needs to look after herself. good advice. I think you definitely need to do this. So please do that. Rejuvenate and look after yourself. All right, Susan. Oh, I look forward to this one for you, Susan. Let's see. Gee, you are getting around there a little bit, Robin, aren't you? Variety's the spice of life. All right, let's have a look, Susan. Let's spread these cards out. Oh, there we go. Thanks, Mercury retrograde. Okay, Susan. After I've done Susan's card, I'm going to be turning a card for everybody for the week. Let's do this one first, Susan. Oh, you're bringing me back down here. All right, let's have a look at this one. Partnerships and alliances for you here, Susan. Now, this could be a couple of things. So people are reaching out to you and saying, hey, come on board. It's not sometimes a relationship, but more about the people around us. So this could be a job offer coming your way. See the number 3 here? That's the creation of something new. We're bringing in something new. So maybe this is a promotion. Maybe they're wanting to bring you up. Maybe this is a job offer for a new job that's coming in. Maybe this is a friend group that's saying, hey, Susan, come on board. Come and join us. Maybe it's finding, your tribe, your people. Maybe it's a new hobby or something that you want to do. But lots of offers around you. Partnerships and alliances. Could get some really good friendships at this moment too. But when these people do offer you this opportunity, they do have your back. It really is a, hey, come over here. It's that double handshake. So good opportunity to take, but you're going to find that you may have a lot of people wanting your attention at the moment or wanting you to join their team. So a lovely card. All right, let's now turn a card for the rest of the week for everybody. Just again, you're welcome, Monica, as always. Don't forget, if you do have a subject that you'd like to cover, Emily's going to send me the one that she did bring up tonight about familiars, about animal spirit. Might even talk about totems as well. But you can just send any of your metaphysical questions to askravencooper@gmail.com and we will cover them on the shows. All right, let's have a look. Just a general message for everyone tonight. And thank you, everyone, for coming on board and hanging out. I love when we all hang out together. All right, let's have a look. Oh, I'm glad that makes sense, Susan. I thought it might. You deserve an opportunity. You deserve more than that. All right, let's have a look. Just a message for everyone. Okay. Ooh. We're going to take this one. Oh, victory and success. He's gotten to the top of his mountain here, the top of his cliff, and it's a bit dark. And he doesn't want it to be dark. So how does he bring the light in? We just talked about spiritual awakening. This one here is he is blowing his own trumpet. So that's exactly what you need to do, or we all need to be doing this week. Let the world know you're amazing. Let yourself know you're amazing. Maybe you're at work at the moment and you deserve that promotion. Go in and blow your own trumpet. Go in there and let them know, hey, I'm amazing. You should give me that promotion and you should give me a pay rise. Or maybe it's just looking at yourself in the mirror tomorrow morning. Love yourself. Even, that can be really hard at times. Maybe even just try liking or just saying something positive to yourself, but blow your own trumpet. Be proud of yourselves this week. Celebrate who you are, which I think goes along lovely with the theme that we kind of chatted about earlier on in tonight's live. So everyone go forth, blow your own trumpet. Let the world know how amazing you are. And don't forget, Mercury is still in retrograde until October the 2nd. So those gremlins are still going to be around. We're going to have trouble with technology, communications, people coming back from the past, emails getting sent to the wrong people, receiving the wrong text messages. The universe showing us very much right now between that Libra and that Virgo as we go through this retrograde, where's the imbalances in your life? Where are you lacking balance? We're kind of being shown those now, so that from sort of, I think it's about the 22nd until the 2nd of October, we can then look and go, okay, how can we now bring those new changes in? How can we bring balance in? But expect chaos. chaos with everything, appointments, time, communications, cars, everything being a little bit hectic. I've had an amazing time as always, and I'm already looking forward to next week. And like I said, tonight's topic is such a huge topic. We just touched on a couple of things, but we're definitely going to extend on that more and more over the next few weeks. And yeah, have a good night. Try and get some sleep. Sleep can be a little bit difficult during Mercury retrograde. Dreams can be a little bit hectic as well. We will do another dream night too and talk about dreams and how we can be working with them and what they're all about. So take care. Look after yourselves. Have a great week, and I'll